In Africa, agriculture employs 60% of the continent's workforce. Despite that, the continent is grappling with malnutrition and hunger. That is why the Uganda government, in partnership with the African Union, is hosting an extraordinary post-Malabo CAADP summit in Kampala to tackle the issue. Delegates from 54 African countries are gathered here in Kampala for the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program Summit that is aimed at discussing food security. The Minister for Agriculture, Frank Tumwebaze, who is also the chairperson of the AU Specialized Technical Committee on Agriculture, says it's time to execute the outlined plans to transform Africa's agri-food systems.
It is by focusing on execution that we can make a meaningful impact on our continent and our people. We must move not with the times, but ahead of the times. This calls for advances in technological research and practices, building agricultural systems that are resilient to climate change and other shocks, agro-industrialization and the like.
A strengthened collective resolve to tackle challenges in the continent's agriculture sector is paramount if the desired goal is to be achieved.
Inclusivity is a fundamental aspect of our approach. We will ensure that women and youth and marginalized groups have access to resources, thereby facilitating their equitable participation in the agri-food sector.
Agriculture is not merely a sector, it is a backbone of our economies, the source of livelihoods for millions, and a key driver of sustainable development.
Prime Minister Robin Nabanja has asked the agriculture sector ministers to guide on how to meet the set targets.
You will note that CAADP is one of the strategies towards the realization of the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. Therefore, let us work deliberately to get what we want as a continent.
Nabanja is concerned that Africa, which has over 60% of arable land, imports food.
As the continent's agriculture sector ministers, I urge you to deliberately work to reduce Africa's over-reliance on food imports from outside the continent. We must position the continent in such a manner that our agriculture sector is resilient to climate change as well as other shocks and is adaptive to advances in technology.
The extraordinary summit has started with a one-day meeting of the ministers responsible for agriculture, rural development, water and environment, and will be climaxed with the assembly of heads of state and government on Saturday. The CAADP aims for a 6% annual growth rate in the agriculture sector, with African Union member states allocating at least 10% of their budgets to agriculture. With the summit aimed at enhancing sustainable and resilient agri-food systems on the continent, delegates have been urged to ensure that their governments invest heavily in the agriculture sector and also embrace modern technologies if this sector is to be transformed, and also the issue of hunger addressed on the continent. I'm Benjamin Jumbe, NTV.